Morning. Welcome to the 2015 IMPD Retiree Luncheon. If you would please stand for the presentation of colors by the IMPD Color Guard.
Detail. Halt. Left. Hey.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Praise Lord. Order. And recover. Pose.
Right. Forward. Halt.
All right, good morning. I'm Captain Richard Riddle, and on behalf of the Honorable Mayor Joseph Hogsett, Deputy Mayor David Hampton, Chief Troy Riggs, and Director of Public Safety Dr. David Wantz, and the IMPD command staff, I would like to welcome each of you to the IMPD Retiree Luncheon honoring the 2015 retirees. It is truly an honor for me to be here today to say thank you on behalf of IMPD to the men and women I have worked with, looked up to for nearly 16 years. And the reality is some of you were eligible for retirement when I actually came on the police department, so take a little solace in that. As with everything, I got a couple of remarks to make about some of the officers that actually stood out to me, but unfortunately they couldn't be here today, so I'm going to mess with them in their absence, so please don't go back and say Riddle was talking about you because he knew that you wouldn't be here. Sadly, Sergeant Bill Clark couldn't make it today. He had some medical procedures and unfortunately had to be hospitalized, so our thoughts and prayers are with Bill Clark. Commander John Conley, as many of you know, went on to Butler University. This morning they found one of their officers had unfortunately passed overnight very suddenly. So our thoughts and prayers are with Butler University and their police department today. And on behalf of IMPD, we send our condolences out to Butler University. So I'd like to take a quick minute to reminisce on the few of the retirees that made an impact on my career. First time I met Sergeant Bill Clark, I knew he looked familiar, but I just didn't know where from. Then, as most of you probably remembered from history books and remembered seeing his portrait from the Civil War. Who here doesn't think Bill Clark looks like a Civil War general? So don't, see, I know Bill's going to watch this eventually, and I always mess with him for that. Once he said he was from Tennessee, it all made sense. But all joking aside, Bill had the ability, with his southern drawl and accent, to talk to anybody. His friendly and approachable demeanor made him the gentleman he is today. We truly miss you, Bill, and we wish you well wishes and a speedy recovery. We wish you could be here today. For those of you that know Commander John Conley, he has been a mentor to me ever since I was first promoted to the rank of sergeant. Every time I saw him, he had a big smile on his face. And can anyone guess what he said next? Anybody? Hey, buddy, how's it going? That's John Conley, always smiling, always out there to make you feel good and make you feel like that you are important and made an impact. John and I communicated throughout the years and have always left the door open for me to come work for him. Due to some internal restructuring on IMPD, I actually had the opportunity to work for him and Captain Chris Dahlke on Southeast District. That assignment was hands down one of the best assignments I have had on this police department, short, Chief, of being the PIO, so don't take that personal. I do enjoy this. Every day, John Conley showed how much he cared for his employees in this city. And you know what? I personally saw the respect his employees had for him and how much they loved working for him. And Butler is very, very fortunate to have picked him up, and now he's their police chief. I have respect for them and all of you here today. Each of you has made a lasting impression not only on myself, our agency, and most importantly, this great city. You wore the badge, you served and sacrificed, not only for the department, but for your family. You dedicated your adult lives to something bigger than yourself. And can anyone guess, those that RSVP'd here, how many years of service? 688 years of service to the city of Indianapolis. And for those of us that couldn't join, probably another 400 years on top of that. So we have about 1,000 years of service for our 2015 retirees. That is phenomenal. I hope just to make it to 20, much less Captain Dahlke, 44 years? 44 years. That is our most senior employee that left last year, 44 years of service. Please give him a round of applause. At this point, I'd like to call up Chaplain Wynn Berry for our invocation.
Thank you, Captain. Let us bow our heads. Father, we thank you today. Thank you for these great men and women that have served faithfully, consistently, and diligently within our great city. God, thank you for their tenor of service, their time, and the sacrifice. God, we ask as they move to the next adventure in their life, that you would be with them, that you would bless them, that you would keep them and prosper them. Bless those that are here today, those that are not here, and have your way in the midst of us, and be glorified in all that we do and say. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Real quick before we start our luncheon, we would like to thank our supporters and sponsors for making this day possible. Because of their continued generosity, we are able to honor our police officers and their dedication to service. Without them, this day would not be possible. I'd like to thank the following sponsors: Ms. Jeanette Sawi and the Bitwell Event Center, and especially Santorini's for providing today's meal. Mike Laird and Debbie Laird, sitting to my left, from the Jake Laird Memorial Fund. Thank you. Mr. John Kautzman, Mr. Duncan, from Ruckelshaus, Kautzman, Blackwell, Bemis, and Hosbrook. Did I say that right? I'm trying, man. You guys need to add another name on there for us. Lieutenant Rick Snyder and Sergeant William Owensby from FOP 86. Miss Liz Allison from the IMPD Employee Recognition Fund. Recently retired Deputy Chief Mike Bates. Hey, Chief. How's the private sector? You miss us? You miss us yet? No comment, right? Thank you. Yes, sir. Like I said, Mike Bates and Chief James Campbell from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jeannie Johnson, Jeffrey Fuller, and James Trout from the Indianapolis Power and Light Company. Thank you. Mr. Danny Overly, Tom and Jan Cotton from the Indianapolis Professional Police Officers Credit Union. Is Dave Roth here? Did I see him? All right. Dave Roth with the Police and Firemen's Insurance Association. Mr. Tony Lorenzano from TL Enterprises. James Waters Sr. and Duane Martin from Miller, Waters, Martin, and Hall. Sergeant Matthew Stewart from the Stewart Speaker Series. And last but not least, Mr. Dane Nutty from the Indianapolis Police Foundation. Please join me in a round of applause. I hate to do it, but I'd like to introduce our command staff that's present here today. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you to stand real quick. Everyone knows Chief Troy Riggs to my left. Assistant Chiefs, Assistant Chief Waters. Did I miss any Assistant Chiefs? Deputy Chief Valerie Cunningham. Deputy Chief Bill Laura. You going to join us next year, Chief? Thank you. Thank you for your service. Our commanders, if your commanders will please stand, I'll see who's here. Commander Karen Arnett, Northwest District. Commander Chad Kinect, Downtown District. Commander Michael Spears, Southwest District. Commander Christopher Bailey, North District. Commander Don Snyder from Southeast District. Commander Mike Jefferson, our new Night Watch Commander. And last but not least, Commander Freeze from our Homeland Security. And lastly, our majors. Major Burton from Homeland Security, Major Hinch from Investigations, Major Kern from Administration, and last but not least, Major Robinson from Professional Standards. I'd like to thank all of you for the support today for our retirees. All right, I see everybody looking at me like, come on, Rick, let's get this going, we're hungry. So now I'd like to turn it over to the staff of this wonderful facility who will provide our lunch. So thank you, and we'll come back here in just a few minutes. All right, we're gonna get rolling on our ceremony here. Hopefully everybody is enjoying their lunch. I'd like to thank the facility again for providing us such a wonderful space, and also Santorini's for our wonderful lunch. So thank you very much. We'll get going on a couple of remarks. First individual that is going to come up and share a few remarks with us is the new Deputy Mayor of Communities, Mr. David Hampton.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, such an honor to sit with Mike and Debbie Laird, and as we're all here in honor of Jake Laird, and all of those really who have fallen, and especially those of you who have dedicated your lives to service, who retire, certainly honor you today as well. I'm honored to also bring remarks on behalf of our mayor, Joe Hogsett. Want to really just express my thanks to you and to what you do. As I was talking to Rick Snyder earlier, many of you don't, if you have not met me or don't know me, my background, I'm a pastor by trade, but also my undergraduate degree was in criminal justice. Dave Wantz knows that I'm a proud graduate of University of Indianapolis, earned my undergraduate degree in criminal justice, and as I told Director Abbott, I had dreams of entering law enforcement at one time. God took me in a different direction, of course, but I have an affection and an affinity for what you do, and I'm very honored that part of my duties as deputy mayor includes working with Chief Height and public safety, particularly in the area of reentry, but just any area that I can be of assistance and help to you, I'm honored and glad to be able to do that. As we honor those who have retired today, it is such a great sacrifice to do what you do. It's an even greater sacrifice to sometimes step away from doing what you love. Most of the people I know who have retired, including my mom, are busier in retirement than they were when they were actually working. So whatever you do, I wish you Godspeed, and we thank you for your many years of service thus far. Let's just give a hand, if we can, to our retirees today. Certainly don't want to take up too much time, but I think the next order of the day is our own Chief, Troy Riggs.
Well, first, let me just say thank you to the sponsors that made this event possible. Also, thank you to all of our retirees. I was sitting there as we were sitting and chatting during lunch, and I wanted to read you a scripture that always means so much to me when I think about law enforcement. And it's Matthew 6, verse 4. It says this: "Give your gifts in private, and your Father who sees everything will reward you." Think about that for a moment. For those of you that are retiring, you have given your life as a gift to this community. You have given the best years of your life professionally to this community. You have given the gift of injuries, of putting yourself in harm's way, of making sure that citizens' lives are more important than your own. You have given in that capacity. You have given as athletic coaches. You have given in many capacities throughout this community. And Indianapolis is a much better place and a much safer place because of your work. Today, you get some award for that, you get some reward for that, but I truly believe that your greatest reward is yet to come, because very few people will give their life and their activities to making a place a better place to live for all their residents. And I thank you for that. You know, we still have a department that cares about integrity, honor, commitment. Those things still matter to law enforcement, and it matters to everybody in this room. I'm humbled to be here with you today. I thank you for your service, but I would certainly be remiss if I did not ask Chief Height if he would come forward, please, just to say a few words. You retired under his command. I consider him a good friend, an excellent chief, and Chief, I'd certainly don't think I would do you justice if I didn't allow you to speak to the men and women served under you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. That was unexpected, but I appreciate it. Thank you for your confidence as our Public Safety Director and your leadership, and also moving into the new role as Chief. Congratulations. Thank you, my friend. Glad to say my good friend Jay Abbott sitting next to you, because it's important that we continue doing something we always did in IMPD. You've done it time and time again. You rely on relationships, collaborations, and being honest with each other about what it is we can do as a team. This is one of the greatest police departments I ever had the pleasure to work with or for. It is the greatest police department I had the pleasure of working for. One of, and the only. I can say that honestly, that I really, truly, every day enjoyed working with you. The other thing I want to say is I want to thank you for trusting and believing in the team. And we expanded the team with the FBI and all the federal departments. You know all that. But those retirees who are here now, the institutional knowledge you're leaving with us, have left with us, will continue to build on the team and the brand. You haven't gone because you still pay attention to what goes on. We all do. But we all talk about retirement in a different way. Well, at least I do. I remember the days with the rookie, how important it was for the paycheck. But as you got older, you recognize it's about legacy. You're leaving a legacy. You have left a legacy. And some of you have been restored back into positions to do exactly what you said you would do once you left. You said, if I had a chance to do it again, what would I do differently? Now is your time. I repeat, now is your time to do what you said you would do differently if you were given a second chance. The last thing I'll say is this: the hardest badge to get is a retirement badge. And you can remember and think about all the cases you went on, all the runs you went on, and how many times you put yourselves in harm's way. And not even your parents, your wives, your siblings, or your loved ones, your children. No one knows how many times you came close to death. It's the hardest badge to receive, to get, to earn in policing. You earned it, every one of you who retired. And those who are on your way out, Bill, it's going to be good, man. Come on out. Water's good. And I understand that the professional development piece is working right well, right, Chief? I think you're on your way for the professional development office. Going to have a place for you to land. I see my man smiling. Mike Bates is doing extremely well. He's driving in 2016. He's doing okay. Life is good after. So enjoy the fruits of your labor. As the dean would tell me, Chief Campbell, make sure you take care of yourself and your people. So do that. Enjoy your retirement, but also remember to keep giving back. Keep whispering in the ears of those who you left a legacy with. Keep sharing those nuggets. Keep talking to the FOP. Keep talking to the attorneys. I see my friends over there from the legal side that we had problems with, challenges with, but we often found a way to sit down and talk about how we fix these things. Continue to be part of a growing change in policing. We're looked upon in Indiana as one of the greatest police departments in terms of working with people and communities, and the nation is watching. Continue to be that. That's all I have to say. And every now and then, you see me on the corner of Meridian and George are shaking that cup. I'm gonna be the cup shaker. I already indicted that corner. When you see me there, put a little something in the cup for me, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm going to slightly deviate from the plan. I'd like to call up Special Agent in Charge Jay Abbott of the FBI Indianapolis office.
Well, first, it's truly an honor to be here among you. And I want to talk to you just briefly, a couple of remarks about two people that I have a lot of respect for, great deal of respect for. One is an old friend, and one's a new friend. The old friend is one I met as a young agent, and I've been in the FBI for 28 years. Those first 10 years were as a gunslinging cowboy case investigator in Washington, D.C. And half that time was spent on what was known as the Cold Case Squad. We investigated old homicides. And a lot of people in the country said they were the first to do this, but we were the first. And it was the first time that the FBI paired with the police department, in this case the Metropolitan Police Department, to investigate a backlog of old homicide cases. And I was one of the first original 4 members of that squad. And the partner that they paired me with, and I was telling this story to a couple people earlier, his name was Bob Vason. We called him Father Bob. He completed 7 out of 8 years of Catholic seminary before following his true calling to become a police officer. And he was the one who taught me who was really important out there in keeping my family safe, myself safe, who was going to be the first one to show up when there was a problem at my house. It's you. The impact that you made in your careers, I hope you reflect back on it and realize just how substantial it was. Very meaningful to me, and it's an honor for me to be able to address you, and I hope the very best for you in a long retirement. And that brings me to the second person that I have a great amount of respect for, and I met him at the end of my career. I've got a few more years to go, and then I hope to be filling one of those seats that you're sitting in someday too, or one similar to it. And you already heard him say it once already, but he told me one of the first times that we met that the hardest badge to earn was that retirement badge. And also, one of the first discussions I had with him a year and a half ago was around that July 4th weekend when your department was reeling from its most recent loss with Officer Perry Wren. And I know Chief Rick Height had seen a number of special agents in charge with the FBI come and go. I didn't know how he was going to accept me, particularly given the tragedies that the department had just gone through, and the state actually had just gone through with 2 other tragic losses of law enforcement officers that were close in time to Officer Perry Wren's. But Rick immediately made it very clearly understood to me the importance of those relationships and the collaborations that we have. And I am so honored and thankful that he is the man of character and courage and competence and, sir, of collaboration that he is. Those are the traits of a true leader, and I am so pleased to finally catch up with him because I've had this plaque sitting in my office for a long time. And on a not so serious note, we are the federal government, that's what we do, we just give away plaques. But the meaning behind it is very genuine and from the heart. Chief, I'd love to present this to you with a handshake and thank you so much for your service, your friendship, and your professionalism.
Just a couple of things about the relationship. Jay's right. When he was on his way, he's driving down, he's calling and reaching out and asking, what can you do to help? Right at the cusp of the death of Perry Wren. But not only did he do that, he brought in some resources to help our investigation, and he did some things in the summer months that are really unique. He made agents street soldiers and had them in the community, working with Bill Laura and working with Mahone, and it was just different, a different feel. And when you came to work, you felt like they had your back. And the force multiplier of the federal agencies stepping up with the U.S. Attorney, DA, and marshals, but the FBI were the first to go out in the trenches on the east side of town and actually did some street rips with us. That was different. And it kind of like became the model, I believe, for other agencies to look at and how we work with law enforcement. And at Troy's helm, we did some work in the areas of the neighborhoods and talk about these zones. Troy, I think you don't get enough credit in terms of dealing with the early stages of talking about how we work with the partnership and make community part of that piece of it, and I think that's important. But lastly, you making it work is what counts. Everything you've done and everything you continue to do is with the relationship we have with the agencies. It only matters is how much emphasis you put on being professional. Please, please turn to each other and not on each other. Support our chiefs, support our FBI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Our FOP President, Lieutenant Rick Snyder, has a real quick piece to add and an explanation on another retiree award that's going to be handed out today.
Thank you, Captain Riddle. Good afternoon. I'm really humbled and honored to be here. I went through the list of folks, and I think most everyone who is here I've spoken with, and most every single one of you I've relied upon at some point in my career for guidance or support, and sometimes even encouragement. It's just humbling to be able to be here and be a part of this. One of the things that we like to do as the Fraternal Order of Police is celebrate times just such as this. For all of us, we know, but for some of our guests, the Fraternal Order of Police is really an organization that is made up of police officers serving their fellow police officers. And on behalf of our 3,000 active and retired members, we want to say congratulations to each and every one of you. We look forward to your continued participation in our lodge for all those great retiree events. But we also wanted to come here today to acknowledge those members who have had at least 32 years of active membership in the Fraternal Order of Police as an active officer. I say at least 32 years. Just this past August, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Fraternal Order of Police in the United States. It was established in 1915 by two patrol officers standing on a corner during their walking their beats, talking about ways in which they can improve the conditions of the police officers that were going to follow them. And for those of you especially that have 32 years or more of service, I was just thinking you've been a member of our FOP for a third of our existence. And that's something to really be recognized and valued. And I just want to say that all of you, regardless of your years of service, the ones of us that are left behind, that are still working here and moving forward, we stand on the ground that all of you plowed for us. And we don't forget that, and we recognize that. With that, I want to read the names of those that we have with at least 32 years of service. And then when you have your presentation here, you will also receive a watch, a special watch from the FOP with an emblem on it, your name and your dates of service on the back of that. If there's anyone that we have overlooked or missed, please reach out to us, and we will make sure that we get that corrected and link up with you. So again, I would just like to congratulate Lieutenant Mark Carrico, Officer Carol Carson, Sergeant Bill Clark, Captain William Dalkey, Lieutenant Albert Kennedy, Lieutenant James Shepard, Officer Lisa Stevens, Lieutenant David Taylor, and Lieutenant David Young. Can we give all of them a round of applause, please? Thank you very much.
All right, Chief, we're ready. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with our civilian retirees. For those of us that wear a gun and a badge, we know how important our civilian employees are to us every day. They are really the unsung heroes of this police department. They don't get enough credit, and we obviously take every opportunity that we can to thank them and honor them for their service. So first, Miss Gloria Ballard, Victims Assistance, started in October 25th of 2003, retired August 31st of 2015. Can the assistant chiefs and the deputy chiefs please come up for pictures, please? Miss Sharon Evans Dennis. Sharon started in 1983 as a typesetter. She went to the Human Resources Office in 1994, Career Development in 1994, and the Personnel Systems Specialist in the year 2000. She was transferred to City HR. However, we never lost track that she still worked for IMPD HR. She retired on January 12th of 2015. Miss Mary Mahan started her employment in 1997. She was a staff assistant in City HR the year 2000, Crime Stopper Specialist in 2000, and Sex Crimes in 2003. Lastly, she retired in September 29th of the year 2015. Christina Glacken started in 1979 as a communication dispatcher, a warrant processor in 1986, and a child advocacy and child abuse investigative aide starting in the year 1990. She retired December 18th, 2015. Last but certainly not least, Mr. Ken Wilson. Most of us saw him once every 2 years, and no offense, Ken, that was enough. 2 hours of IDACs, well, that's enough. But that takes nothing away from what Ken offered to our agency. He started in 1997. He came from the state IDACs, came to IPD, and retired in May 28th of 2015.
Thanks, Ken.
Ken and I worked together, so I took a little liberty with that. So I apologize to Mrs. Wilson. I had to. We are going to move on to our sworn retirees. Patrol Officer Robin Bennett was appointed to IPD on December 28th of 1987. In 1989, she was assigned to Quadrant 3 as a patrol officer. She told many stories about her time in traffic, starting in 1990. 1995, she went back to South District. 1996, she went to Vice, held many positions in investigations, including domestic violence, Vice, in narcotics. In 2011, she was assigned to Southeast District, where she retired after 27 years on January 5th of 2015. Patrol Officer Robin Bennett. Patrol Officer Barbara Bertram was appointed October 4th, 1993 to IPD. In 1994, she was assigned to South District. She spent many years assigned to South District as a patrol officer and an accident investigator. 2001, she became a fraud investigator in organized crime. 2007, she went to the forensic video specialist. 2008, she went to the training academy. 2010, she went back to Southeast, went into administration in 2012, and she retired on January 2nd, 2015, after 21 years. Lieutenant Dale Braun was appointed to the Marion County Sheriff's Office on November 26th of 1977 in the jail. Became a merit deputy in 1979, bounced back and forth between the street and an accident investigator. 1998, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. 2007, at the consolidation, he was a field sergeant on North District. 2008, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant and assigned to Southeast District. Between Southeast District, Downtown District, and North District, he finished his career November 26, 2015, after 32 years. Lieutenant Mark Carrico was appointed to the Indianapolis Police Department in May of 1977. 1981, he was assigned to Charles Sector as a late shift patrol officer, became a FTO in 1985, was promoted to the rank of sergeant in 1986. Stayed on the street until 1989, where he became a vice unit supervisor. 1991, he became the supervisor of our SOAR team, or what we know as the permanent SWAT team. 1994, he was assigned to the Metro Gang Task Force intelligence analyst. Also in 1994, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. went back to the SOAR unit. In the year 2000, he was appointed as the commander of the Special Services Bureau. Year 2002 is the Downtown District Major. 2005, he was the Criminal Interdiction Section Supervisor. 2009, he went back as a field lieutenant, where he finished his career on August 18th of 2015 after 38 years of service. Lieutenant Mark Carrico. Like I said earlier, Sergeant William Clark, the Clark family welcomes your prayers. He was unable to be here, like I explained earlier. But Bill, if you're watching this, we're thinking of you. Commander John Conley, I explained earlier, unfortunately he could not make it today. Once again, his department and his officers are on our prayers. Captain Chris Dalkey. Captain Dalkey was appointed to the Indianapolis Police Department on February 1st of the year 1971. He was assigned to the Operations Division, and many times, as I explained, him and Commander Conley talked about their time on Henry Sector. In 1978, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. In 1979, he was assigned to the Evaluation and Testing Unit, where he spent many years in that assignment. In 1983, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant as the Administration Division Administrative Assistant. 1986, he was promoted to the rank of captain. In 1986, he was also the Special Services Branch Commander and spent many, many years in Investigations Division, to include narcotics, juvenile, vice, narcotics, covert investigation, organized crime. I miss anything, Captain? No, sir. He did it all. In the year 2011, he was assigned to Southeast District as a field captain, where I had the great pleasure of working for Captain Dalkey for a little over a year. Captain Dalkey retired February 6th, the year 2015, like I said earlier, after 44 years of service to the city of Indianapolis. Chris Dalkey. Detective Sandra Gardner was appointed to the Marion County Sheriff's Department in 1988. In 1989, she was a merit deputy. In 2005, she was assigned as a domestic violence investigator. She spent many years in domestic violence, where she retired on January 1st of 2015 after 26 years of service. Detective Sandra Gardner. Sergeant Michael Hansen was appointed to the Marion County Sheriff's Department on June 19th of 1993, where he was a deputy in road patrol. In 1999, he was assigned to property crimes. In the year 2000, he was assigned to investigations in the checks and fraud section as a permanent sergeant. In 2000, at the merge, he became the sex offense unit supervisor. 2010, he became the North District field sergeant. 2012, he was also the district crime strategist for North District. And in 2013, he became the community relations supervisor, where he retired on March 31st of 2015 after 21 years of service. Sergeant Michael Hansen. Thank you. Patrol Officer Michael Hegg. Officer Hegg was originally appointed in 1988 to the Training Academy. Took a few years off, came back in 1996, And in the year 1997, he was assigned to West District as a patrol officer. He became the accident coordinator and spent many years as an FTO, as an accident investigator on West and South District. In 2003, he transferred to East District, where he became a patrol officer and spent the rest of his career on East District until he retired on October 16th of 2015 as a lucky man with 20 years of service, Officer Michael Haig. Lieutenant Albert Kennedy was appointed September 15th of 1980 to the Marion County Sheriff's Department, where he spent many years as a merit deputy. In the year 1992, he was assigned to the personnel section as a personnel investigator. 1996, he was promoted to the merit rank of lieutenant. 1999, he was the acting merit captain in the personnel branch. 2003, he became a shift supervisor for the law enforcement section of the Marion County Sheriff's Department. 2004, he was the assistant section commander for the domestic violence section. In 2007, at the merger, he became a field lieutenant. He also was the victim assistance section supervisor, the sex offense section supervisor, and lastly, he finished as the medical liaison supervisor in HR, where he retired on January 5th of 2015 after 34 years of service. Lieutenant Albert Kennedy. Officer Roxanne Malloy was appointed to the Indianapolis Police Department in 1988. She was a patrol officer in 1989. In 1991, she was a child advocacy investigator, child abuse for many years. In 2002, she went to the Mounted Patrol Unit, where she retired on February 1st of 2015. She was unable to be here, but we wanted to give her credit for her years of service after 26 years. Lieutenant Timothy Motzinger. Lieutenant Motzinger was originally appointed July 23rd of 1984 to the Indianapolis Police Department. In 1985, he became a patrol officer, and he also went to traffic enforcement as a motorcycle officer. In 1988, he went across the street and joined the Marion County Sheriff's Department in the jail division. 1989, he became a technical corporal. In 1993, he became the merit rank of sergeant. 1998, he was the assistant division commander in administration, shift supervisor in 2003 for law enforcement section, and the assistant section commander for missing persons in 2005. In 2007, at the consolidation, he became a field supervisor, spent many years as a Crime Stoppers program director. In 2010, he went back to the street on East District, Downtown District, and last but not least, Southwest District, where he retired January 1st, 2015, after 30 years of service. Lieutenant Timothy Motzinger. Lieutenant John Pridemore. Lieutenant Pridemore was originally appointed to the Indianapolis Police Department on April 17th of 1972. In 1976, he was assigned to Adams Sector on the day tactical shift. 1981, he went to middle shift. In 1983, he became a field sergeant. 1987, he became a communications lieutenant on middle shift. Also in 1987, he went to North District as the FTO field lieutenant. In 1992, he became the field lieutenant for middle shift. In 1992, he also went and became the detective lieutenant on North District. In 1998, he decided to become the field lieutenant for North District, and that continued through the merge, where he retired on January 9th of 2015 after 42 years of service to the city of Indianapolis. Lieutenant John Pridemore. Lieutenant James Shepard was appointed to the Indianapolis Police Department on October 19th of 1979. In 1980, he was assigned to David Sector as a patrol officer. In 1984, he became a family abuse neglect investigator. In the year 1989, he also got promoted to the rank of sergeant, where he was assigned to East District as a field sergeant. In 1991, he was a training instructor. 1994, he became the driver's training supervisor. 1999, he was a field sergeant. Also in 1999, he was a trainer at the academy during the range session, where this young captain could not hit a target. So the joke was we just throw a rock at it and put a hole in it that way. But Lieutenant Shepard helped me greatly, calmed me down, and allowed me to shoot and pass, and here we are today. In 2002, he was a firearms training section supervisor at the range. In 2005, he became the Safe Streets Task Force section supervisor, and in 2008, he became the field lieutenant for North District Late Shift, where he retired on February 23rd of 2015 after 35 years of service. Lieutenant James Shepard.
You did good.
Thank you. Detective Lisa Stevens was appointed to the Marion County Sheriff's Department on May 8th of 1976. We joked about this, but she went to jail for many, many, many years. In 1991, she was appointed as a technical corporal in the Administration Division. In 2007, at the merge, she became a missing persons detective, where she spent the rest of her career and retired on May 29th of 2015 after 39 years of service to the city of Indianapolis. Detective Lisa Stevens. Officer Rafe Sapansky. Did I say it right? Close enough. I can spell it, but I'll have to look. Rafe was appointed to the Indianapolis Police Department on December 27th of 1993. He spent his entire career on Southeast District and South District for IPD. In 2004, he was retired, 2004, he was assigned to Southeast District as Charles 130 and retired on January 1st, 2015 after 21 years of service. Officer Rafe Sapansky. Lieutenant David Taylor was appointed September 15th of 1980 to the Marion County Sheriff's Department as a jail security officer. In 1985, he became a merit deputy. In 1988, he was assigned as a traffic enforcement officer. In 1994, he became a merit rank of sergeant, and from the year 1995 through 1997, he was assigned to the grand jury. In 1997, he became a lieutenant and was assigned as a traffic enforcement lieutenant. 2007, he came over at the merge, remained in traffic, where he retired on January 1st of 2015 after 34 years of service. Lieutenant David Taylor. Sergeant Leetta White was appointed to the Indianapolis Police Department on January 22nd of 1982. 1982, she was assigned to Quadrant 2 as a patrol officer. 1987, she became a field training officer. In 1989, she was assigned to the police athletic to the POW Club as a community athletics officer. 1996, she went to North District as a patrol officer. She was also assigned downtown. She became a field sergeant in 2005. 2006, she became a district detective sergeant on East District. 2010, she became the community relations sergeant on East District, where she retired on March 12th of 2015 after 33 years of service. Sergeant Leetta White. Is there anybody I missed? Who did I miss? He retires next year. All right, one last round of applause for our retirees. Obviously, congratulations one last time, and we all want to thank you and your families for all you have done for our city. Your dedication and sacrifices are immeasurable, and we are very grateful. We wish you all the best in the future and in the next chapters of your lives. Thank you for coming today. Drive safely. God bless. And one last thank you to all of our sponsors out there. Thank you very much.